Good morning, everyone. This is Paul Combs with CourthouseDirect. I want to welcome everybody this morning to our broadcast. The reason we're here this morning is to talk about CourthouseDirect and some of the changes that we've made on the website, in which we've changed our design a little bit. Also, we've added some new products, some GIS products. And just before we start, though, I just want to mention to you that we are recording this conversation. And there is a place for you to ask questions or give comments. So find that on your dashboard where you can do that. And Zach White will be kind of following those questions, and he'll be feeding those back to me at the end of the presentation. So we have kind of a diverse crowd with us today, in that we have a lot of title abstractors and some title examiners, also quite a few oil and gas landmen and right-of-way agents, perhaps some attorneys on the line, and maybe even some genealogists, So we have a very diverse clientele, and what we've tried to do when we develop these products is really try to keep all of those different customers in mind, if you will. So the things we're going to talk about today is some design changes where we've changed the menu bar to an action bar across the top. Also, I think it gives you fast links to the products and services that you're looking for. We've also made some improvements to our coverage map, particularly for Texas. We'll be adding that to New Mexico. And I will point out that a lot of what we're talking about in terms of some of the GIS mapping products that we're doing is mainly geared toward Texas, New Mexico, and we're doing a few things in Oklahoma too. And the GIS map tools that we've built here allows you to search by abstract number or survey name, which is really pretty handy for any examiner, abstractor. You want to start with a map. So if you can go into an area and by putting in an abstract number and immediately get to the mapping area, that's very helpful. Also, too, what I'm really excited about for our surveying clients is the ability to immediately download subdivision plats. So you can drill down to the area and download those plats immediately. And then for the oil and gas folks, we also have integrated a lot of the Railroad Commission data with pooling information, well reports, well plats, and the W1. So anyway, if you look at our legacy homepage, we've removed the sidebar along the left-hand side, so that's gone. And so the look and feel of the site doesn't change that much, in that you've just removed the sidebar. But then if you look across the top, you'll notice now these are action items. So going from left to right, essentially, when you click on the download button, it'll gives you the options to download the real property documents that you might want to download. Also, we have deed reports, property tax reports, sales comparable reports, and what we call an asset search. The nice thing about the asset search is if you're an oil and gas landman and your lessor has moved out to California or something, you can go into the state, and as long as they own real estate, you can do a quick asset search for somebody that's located in a particular area. And then we have our tab, which is Search Records, which allows you to search the grantor-grantee indexes, what we call our filtered searches for involuntary liens, releases, easements. When we say easements, it's not just easements, it's right-of-way dedications, it's pipeline dedications, water lines, all of those things. And then also, too, we have a link to our a map button there. Of course, now with our GIS platform, you can use the GIS platform to pull the map also. And then also, too, we have a tool we call a lease check for all of our oil and gas landmen to be able to go into an area, put in a survey name or an abstract number, and then find the activity in that area. Also, too, our marriage and divorce records, what we found out is we get a lot of activity on those links. And if you're an abstractor or a landman, you're always trying to figure out, why did this name change? Why do I have Susie Smith is now Susie Jones? Well, maybe she was divorced or was remarried. So to have that as a resource is pretty handy. So we've added that to our search record button. And then, of course, we own our title plants in these markets all around Texas and New Mexico, where if you're a landman or an abstractor and you'd like to be able to access the geographic title plant, you can choose to do that from there. And then let's take a look at the file viewer. The file viewer, we did get a few calls yesterday, people saying, well, how do I get to the historical records? Well, we've always used the word file viewer internally and externally to talk about where our historical records are. But just go to file viewer, and then you'll see the button there that says historical deeds and indexes. Then click on view now, and you're able to get to work immediately. And then under the GIS map, essentially we've broken this down into real estate data and oil and gas data. And under the real estate data, we have tax information, tax maps, and tax records. And then, of course, I mentioned the recorded subdivision plats, and then also too, you can generate mailing labels from the maps too. And then on the oil and gas side, easily you can locate a pipeline, look at well information, pooling reports, then the W1s, as I mentioned before. And then we have an alert service, which if you're in the oil and gas business and you're not signed up on the lease alert, you need to do that, because when new leases are filed in the courthouse, you'll get an email that say, these were the leases that were filed a week ago, 10 days ago. So for instance, if you're doing research on a piece of property and you get an email saying Mr. Jones just leased his land to someone and you're running title on Mr. Jones, well, you can probably go ahead and quit searching that one because he's already leased the land. But just to be able to find out what activity is going on in the oil and gas business in Texas and New Mexico, you really need to sign up on the lease alert. It's a free service on our site. So again, I would encourage anybody that's oil and gas to sign up on that. And then under title research, we are title abstractors. That's kind of how we built our business. And we will do manual research for people. And we typically like to quote any kind of work that we're doing there. And because we do own title plants, we also have the capability to generate what we call a run sheet, and so if someone would like to contact us and have us run a run sheet determining ownership and lien holders on a particular property, typically in a subdivision, then we will do that deed and lien run sheet. And then also we're currently a title insurance agent, and if you want to order title insurance through the website, you can choose to do that. And then we have some other oil and gas products. One is a Landman starter. The beautiful thing about a Landman starter is that you order the starter from us, and then it's essentially the run sheet out of the title plant, going back as far as we can within the title plant. Sometimes it's back to sovereignty, other times maybe it's back to the 20s or 30s, but we're able to hand that to a landman, and essentially it's a run sheet on an Excel spreadsheet with all the documents attached. And that allows the landman to go, to start doing their research and be able to, do the work they need to do. And then we will do a full abstract of title if people want to hire us to do that. And then we also, again, have that lease check tool that the landmen use. Also, too, we're in the data business. We're data aggregators, so we're always trying to find different partners out there that might be sitting on some data, but they'd like to either sell the data or exchange the data in some ways, so we're always willing to have those conversations. And then also, too, we do build title plants for other folks, so if somebody's interested in building a title plant, they'll contact us to do that. So, again, as you kind of look at the homepage and look at the headers across the top, again, these are all action items to be able to do your work. And then the other, great tools. Now, this has been on the site, but people haven't always used it maybe the way they need to. You can search by the address. So in this case, I just put in 806 Main Street. And when I search 806 Main in Texas, I'm searching every 806 Main Street in Texas. So it's not just, I can define it to a certain county if I choose to do that, but I also can do a statewide search, and I can do that same thing for the owner's name. So in this case, I just put in a first name, last name, but I can search by the owner's name, or if I have the tax ID number, I can search by that tax ID number too. And then also too, you can search by the GIS map, and we'll look at that in just a second. So essentially, if I were to click on Texas now on this map, what it'll do, it'll bring me to this interactive map, so that when I hold my mouse on a particular county, it will pop open the data that we have for that particular county. So in this case, I chose Denton County, and I can see the grantor-grantee index that we have for the county goes all the way back to 1876. We also have historical title plants in the county. and other data there. So you could choose to view this information on a map, but if you look at the top right-hand corner, there's also a button there that says List. So if you click on the List button, then you're going to see a list of all the counties in Texas, like you would see typically on our site now, and then you could pick the county, and then once you pick the county, then you'll see all that same information about the depth of the data that we have in that particular county. Also, too, if you click on that Texas Data Coverage button that's there on the kind of the top of the little matrix there, that'll give you a grid that shows some in-depth data of all the counties that we have on a spreadsheet, if you will. So from here, let's act like we're going into the GIS map, and all you really need to do is either click on the words GIS map or click on the icon there that says GIS map, and that'll bring you to this next page. And it defaults to Texas right now, but as you notice on the right-hand side, we do have data in Arkansas, New Mexico, Texas, and again, we are doing some work in Oklahoma now. We'll be seeing Oklahoma before too long. But the default is Texas, and you can see the different railroad commission areas on the map there. And from here, I can pick a county. So in this case, I'm zooming down to the county. I picked Harris County. You can see the outline of the county itself. And as I drilled down on the map, and you can see at the bottom, I've labeled this as zoom level 15. So at level 15, I can see the surveys and the abstract numbers. And when you see these green lines around these particular tracks, those are all subdivisions. So we know that we actually have a plat for that subdivision that you could pull through this particular mechanism. So, and then if I drill down even deeper, so now I'm on zoom level 17, then I can see, okay, I've got the lot numbers, I've got the block numbers. If I click on a particular parcel there, I can look on the right-hand side. It's going to give me the taxpayer or owner's name, also the address of the property. It's going to tell me the subdivision name, and what we're going to be adding is also the lot and block number there too. So again, and you'll be able to see the date, the deed number and the date. That's usually about the time that the property conveyed. In some counties, you'll actually see the volume and page recording of the deed itself. So, and then if we kind of back up, you'll see that when you go to the map, you'll see that there's certain counties that have the little pump jacks, means that we have pipeline information, oil and gas information from the Railroad Commission. And if you see the other counties that are colored in the light blue color, it means that we have tax information that's overlaid onto the Google map. So from here, if you look along the right-hand side, you'll see that I'm going to choose to put in an abstract number, which is abstract 693 in Harris County. So when I click the go button, it drills me down to that abstract. And I kind of chose this abstract for a couple reasons, but you can see it's kind of it highlights everything in kind of yellow color, everything that's in that C. Shelby survey. And then if we look along the right-hand side, you'll see there's a lot of oil and gas activity. You can see the little green dots, which are the oil and gas, or the oil and gas wells. And so this just happens to be an area that kind of has that information mixed in. So if I go to if I wanted to search, let's say, by the survey name in Harris County, and I just put in the name White, then it's looking for anything that has the name White in the survey name. You see Whitehead, and you'll see, D. White. So then you'll see the abstract numbers next to them. So if I click on the View in Map button, then it'll drop me down to that area. And again, it highlights that particular survey. You can see the abstract number. And so from here, I want to drill down even deeper. And as I drill down, I can see, again, the green boxes that are going to represent the subdivision outlines. And then you'll see kind of to the right-hand side, you'll see the oil wells that are being labeled here, where you see the kind of circles with the blue dots. And then you see pointing down to the green lines, which are the pipelines that are running through the area. And of course, we're pointing over to the survey name that we're zooming down to. So let's say, for instance, I picked one of the tracks and I want to pull up the tax information on it. Again, in this case, I'm looking at a Wilry Guillory as the owner. We've got the address there. We can also see that the subdivision name is St. Charles Place, Section 1. And that volume number and page number is really the tax ID number. If you look at the top there, it's just referring back to the tax ID number, which we'll be putting the recording plat information in there at some point. And if you see down below, it does have that button that says View Associated Plats. And we're going to show you that in just a second. But again, click on the track, and then you've got the tax information showing up on the right-hand side. If I chose to click on that View Associated Plats, it's going to open up a window here. It's going to tell me that the plat associated with this property is St. Charles Place. And from here, I can click on View in Map. And by doing that, it'll kind of highlight the area to make sure that, yes, this is the map that I want to pull. And then you click on Download the File, and then you actually are looking at the subdivision plat that goes along with this particular area. So as quickly as you can drill down to an area, click on a track, click on a View Associated Map, and essentially you're looking at the recorded subdivision map. So if you look from a production standpoint, what may have taken you maybe 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes sometimes to pull a plat, now in essence you've reduced that time just down to a few seconds, you know. And so if I clicked on the oil wells, then it would open up this little box and it says pipeline or parcel. Well, I'm interested in the oil well. So I clicked on the pipeline well information, and then to the right, you'll see that it's labeled as a gas well. It gives me the API number, and also I have the ability from this point to order a well report, a pooling report, a W1, or a plat, drilling plat, or a well plat. And so let me move to the next page. I pulled up a well report, and this is information that gives you the county that the well is located in, the depth of the well, what abstract it was located in. All these wells are assigned an API number, so you've got the API number there. And down at the bottom, you'll notice that it tells us the depth of the well. So this happens to be 11,270. And then if I wanted to pull the W1 application to drill, which is the permit to drill, then again on here it's telling us the proposed depth that they're going to drill, the API number, the county the property is located in, and it gives you more detail about the legal description of the property. You'll notice it gives you the section, the block, the survey name, the abstract number. All that's very helpful. And then down below you'll see that it tells us this is going to be an oil and gas well. And then also too, if I click on the well location map, then it'll give me a more detailed map of the information for the well. These maps a lot of times will give you a lot of great information, even information on the lease that is being applied. So again, you never really know what you're going to get until you open those plats to be able to see that. So if I'm interested in the pipelines, then I can click on the pipeline, and when I click on the particular pipeline, you'll notice that the one I clicked on is colored in red versus another one on the left-hand side that is still green. So what I want to do is pull up a pipeline report because I want to know more about this pipeline. And so here's my pipeline report. So it tells me this is the county that it's located in. Here's the operator of the pipeline, the type of commodity that's going through the line. It also tells us the size of the line is a 4.5 inch gas gathering line, and it goes for a distance of 2.7 miles. And I'll tell you that 9 times out of 10, the operator of the pipeline is the owner of the pipeline. Now, you wouldn't say that in case of an oil well, but in the case of a pipeline, 9 times out of 10, like I say, whoever that pipeline company is, or whoever that operator is usually the owner of the pipeline. So if I'm a commercial title examiner and I have an acreage tract that I'm doing somewhere, it's prudent for me to look at this information and see if there's any pipelines running through my area, because certainly if I see a pipeline, I'm going to want to make sure that I do the research on that. So, of course, you have the ability on CourthousDirect to search by address. Again, I mentioned earlier that if I didn't choose a county, I could do a search like 806 Maine, and it'll bring me all the results for 806 Maine. And so I just happened to choose like the 4th one down, which is in Claiborne, Texas. And when I click on that, it'll drill me down to that area, wherever that might be. So I can look at this and see, well, actually, I think I chose the Round Rock property. But so when I click on this, you can see that this is the taxpayer's name. Here's the subdivision or the area that it's located in. the mailing address. So if the mailing address is different from the taxpayer or the property address and the mailing address, we know that we have an absentee owner. And again, as we kind of look at the results that we got back on the map, it's a lot of good information here. So we have the subject tract that's being highlighted. We have, you notice, a link to the Google map. So if I want to go straight back over to the Google map, I can choose to do that. I can also view this through the street view, and it also gives me the latitude and longitude for the area. And then if I click on that tax map, it's linking back to the GIS, the more complete GIS map, if you will. And then down below, again, the information that we have here is the taxpayer's name, the site address, the legal description of the property, the tax ID number, which also people call it an APN number, the county the property is located in, and then the mailing address. And if you look to the far right of that, from here, if somebody wanted to run the grantor-grantee search or wanted to run an involuntary lien search or look for releases, they can click on the buttons there, and it defaults to the county, in this case, Johnson County, and you could just run your search from there. So let's say, for instance, I clicked on the little yellow man there where it says Street View. It drops me right down where the property is. And that's kind of important because, you know, if you saw, let's say, an overhead power line, or you saw, you know, some kind of a electric box or something like that, that's going to tell you as a researcher that, hey, I have some more work to do here to be able to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and just escape out of this PowerPoint, and now we're back on the live website here. So on the live website, I'm going to go into show a little bit of real estate information, and then we'll jump over to the oil and gas information. So again, as I mentioned before, you know, when you hold your mouse on these tabs across the top, it does a drop down and it gives you all the information that you need. And if I want to go do a search on the grantor-grantee index, if I click on the search button here, it brings me straight over to grantor-grantee. So for instance, if I click on down or hold my mouse on download, and then I pick the county, so if I'm going to go ahead and pick Texas, and then I'll just pick Harris County. Harris. Now, when I go back up and go back to the home page and say, well, I want to search these records, and yes, I want to search Harris County, and I click on the search button, then it's going to default to Harris County. So the fact that it knows you've been there before, so it just takes you right there. So if, again, just clicking on the logo at the top left-hand corner will bring me back to the home page, but I want to drill down into the GIS map. So again, my point on this search records is if I want more detail about what an adverse lien search is, I can click on that and it'll give me more details. But if I want to just go do a search on an adverse lien, I just click on the search button, and that gets me there, and I'm able to get started right away. But again, let's drill down on the GIS map. And again, as I mentioned, it defaults to Texas, and you'll see, you know, all the oil wells and all of that there. But if we look along the right-hand side, you can see how you can zoom to the state, or you can zoom to the state and county. So in this case, let's go ahead and go down to Midland County, if you will. So Midland, let's drill there. So again, this is very active oil and gas county. All those green lines you're seeing across the page are all pipelines that service this area. And you notice the town of Midland kind of sits way kind of north, you know, of the county of Midland. And as we you'll see the page refreshing. You'll see all the oil wells going all around the city here. And Midland is the county that we do have all the maps outlined on here. So you can see all the green lines here as I kind of drill down, and you'll see all the different maps. And you'll also see kind of top left-hand corner, you can see all of these kind of dark lines that run down to these areas here. That's the directional drilling that's going on. So the actual oil well drill site is up at the top left-hand corner, but as you drill down, or the actual hole is where you see these kind of dark lines down here at the bottom. So something else I can do, if I kind of keep drilling down here, you'll notice that all the different tracks are coming into view now. So again, if I'm interested in any of these particular tracts, I just simply click on the tract, click on parcel information. If I look on the right-hand side, I can see the taxpayer's name, then the volume and page recording. And we're not going to guarantee this is a current taxpayer, but again, it's just kind of a shortcut to get you in there and see who's paying taxes for sure. And so from here, if I wanted to, you notice right here, you can use the zoom button to zoom down to an area. And then here's your real estate information, and here's your oil and gas information. So if I'm in Midland County and I want to look at, I'm going to go to an API number for an oil well, then I can just click on that, and it's going to tell me that this oil well using this API, the lease name is Bayless, and then the operator is Diamondback, and I want to drill down to that area. So you notice it highlights the particular oil well that I'm interested in, and now I want to look at the well report. So I'm just going to click on well report, and there's my well report. So again, I'm looking at my depth, I'm looking at my operator, I'm looking at the field that I'm in, and that's good information. And then also too, if I want to pull a W1, that's going to give me other detailed information. Then I can go here, and again, I can see where the property is located, section 39, block 40, township 1S, and I can see the abstract number that I'm in also. So in this case, this is abstract 259. So, again, if I wanted to, zoom down to abstract 259, I could choose to do that. And again, let me just pull this plat map. So there's the actual plat for the oil well, so it shows the location of it. And again, a lot of times you'll get some other good information from these maps. I'm not seeing a lot here right now, but if you had, the lease information sometimes will be platted on these drawings also. So it's just pretty handy to be able to get in here and just, pull these well site maps. And then again, if I wanted to zoom down to this area just by looking using an abstract number, I'm still in Midland County, so I think this will allow me to just paste in abstract 259, go to abstract 259. It tells me that's an Eaton survey. I want to view this area on the map, and it's highlighted that area, and then I can drill down. I can drill down on this area. So let me go into the real estate part of the search here. And if you notice that you have appraisal or tax information, and then you have plat maps, then you have just different layers of data. You can see the things that as you drill down or you drill up, you'll see check boxes on here that will be checked depending on what layer you're on. And again, if I wanted to pull a plat, let's say, and I'm in, let's say, Harris County, and I'm looking for Sable Ridge Subdivision, then I'm just going to start typing here Sable Ridge, and then I don't have to type everything out, but I can say view results here. So it's going to give me a list of everything that it found with Sable Ridge. So if I'm looking for, I'm telling it to go view this area on the map, you can see how it highlights that area on the map right there. So, and then if I want to pull the actual subdivision plat, then I just say get map, and it pulls the actual subdivision map right there. And so from here, again, I can drill down on the map and be able to read whatever it is that I want to read. So again, if you notice there, the way I got here was to put in the subdivision name under the plat map, and then that brought me to this area. I could also, if I wanted to, again, I'm going to just go back to the home button here, or go back to the search button, and I'm just going to pick another county. I'm just going to go back to Harris County. So let's go to Harris, click the go button. And so I have a zip code that I want to go to, for instance. So I want to go to, let's say, 77025, 77025. Go there. You can see how it's highlighting that area for the zip code. And I know the area that I'm looking for, is one of these subdivisions in here. So I can just kind of pick the, pick the area or the parcel, or there's no pipeline running through here, so I don't want to have to worry about that. But I want to pick this particular parcel, and then again, if I look to the right-hand side, I see it's Frank Tanner, Sandra Tanner. I can see that the subdivision name is this Woodshire Section 3. I want to view that map. And again, I want to view it on the map first, just so I make sure I've got the right area. And then I say, let me download the file, and there's my file right there to be able to view the actual plat. So again, that quickly you can go from, from a zip code. If you're looking at a tax printout, I can just drill down to that area and say, this is the area that I need, and be able to very quickly pull that plat up. So, and then, for instance, if I were, let's say, wanting to zoom to another zip code that has nothing to do with Harris County, I just said I'm looking for 76107. I believe that's up in the Tarrant County area. Then you see it just drills down to that area. Tarrant County is kind of notorious for not having the easiest plats to pull. So again, if I wanted to pull an area, and you'll see some of these areas where you see there's highlighted areas, but it's not highlighted outside that area. And it just could be that we haven't actually created those boundaries for these other plats yet. But let's say, for instance, again, I'm just going to click on this map here, or click on the parcel. It's going to tell me that this is the taxpayer's name. I want to look at associated plats. This is some kind of looks like some kind of a replat. I want to view it on the map. I can see those two tracks there. I want to pull the actual plat. So I download the file, and there's the plat there. Again, not the most beautiful plat in the world, but the main thing is the ability to read the map and be able to read all the dimensions on it, which makes all the difference in the world. So, again, I wanted to keep this presentation pretty concise, pretty short, just showing you kind of these new tools that are on the site. There is this kind of tool on the left-hand side. You see, just to kind of show you these tools. For instance, if I wanted to, let's say, get a distance between 2 points, there's a tool here that says distance measure. And I can go in here and just click once, click another time, and it'll tell me that it's 451 feet and it's 0.011 miles. And then I have to double click to end it. Okay. And then if I want to clear that, I just use this little clear button here. And if I want to measure an area, for instance, I'm just going to close out that little box there. But if I want to measure an area, then I can click here and click on the points here. It says it's 1.94 acres, and that really compares to the 9.14 that's shown on the tax map. So it's pretty accurate if you hit on it just right. So to be able to get those kind of measurements or acreage amounts is pretty handy. And then also too, I can zoom in and out using the little tools here. And then there's a search tool here where if I put in, let's say, 806 Maine, Houston, Texas. See if that'll bring me somewhere. So this is kind of a Google search tool, but it's really when it's working, it's actually very handy. And I didn't actually have one prepared to put in here. But 806 Main Street, Houston, Texas, and you see it shows up here. So I got to spell Texas right. Texas, and there it is, JW Marriott. I want to drill down to the area. There's the area right there. I'm interested, well, who's the taxpayer here? So I'm interested in the parcel, 806 Main. Is there an associated map? If you don't see a map showing up here, then it's likely that we just don't have a map for it. And we're talking to our programmers about actually graying out this view associated maps if there's nothing available for the map. Now, this is downtown Houston, and it's what they call Southside Buffalo Bio, which really isn't an official map. So it's you call it unrecorded or not not platted, if you will. But I can see this parcel here next to it. Looks like it's platted. I want to view that associated map. Yeah, there it is. I want to download it, and then I'll have my map there. So this looks like a condominium or something. That's the reason that you see, all of that there. Sometimes maps, because there's multiple pages, will take a few seconds to download. So let's kind of look at the questions that you have. I don't know if you're on the line, Zach, but do you have any questions here?
Yes, sir, I do. And sorry, I was a little late here. We got one question here that's asking if there's a fee associated with the well and tax information on the GIS map.
We have not established a fee yet for the GIS map, so it's absolutely free right now. But we know that whatever price we come up with has to be fair to the user, and then of course fair to us for the work that we've done to accomplish this. But if you have certainly, we'd love to hear from y'all if y'all have some ideas on the best way to price this. But similar to what we do on the for the recorded or for our file viewer, I should say, where we have a monthly fee that gives you a certain amount of access. In this case, when you're using the GIS map, you're actually downloading documents. So versus you're actually able to download them immediately. So again, we're just looking at what is the best way to charge for it. We haven't set that yet, but certainly we want to hear from our customers because it needs to work for them and work for us too.
Great. So I have another question, and this one is about P12 ownership information, but I guess I'll frame this question as, do we have P12 ownership information, and if somebody wants additional data added to the GIS, who can they contact?
Well, certainly you can always reach us at CourthouseDirect just by emailing us at information@CourthouseDirect. And I would tell you, we are still at kind of what I might call the embryo stage of developing all of our mapping technology that we're doing here. These are layers of information, right? So we've been able to acquire certain layers of information, but we know we've still got more work to do to give people all the information they're looking for. So for instance, we have people in Houston that would love for us to have the what they call the GEMS information that comes from the city of Houston to designate where the water lines, sewer lines, and all those are. And we'd love to be able to put that on our system. So if you have recommendations as to data that we can add to the system, we'd love to hear from you.
Outstanding. Okay. Another question. Want to know if there's going to be any change in costs from our current pricing right now with some of our updates.
No. There's no real change in terms of the cost of the services. Again, for us, this is something that was kind of overdue for us to be able to change the homepage, make it more, we'd say, more user-friendly. But the only thing that where there might be additional costs coming up will be the GIS map. So, but in terms of other costs, they're all the same, and so there's no changes there at all. And I am looking at one question. What's the source of the information that you have? Our sources are the Railroad Commission, Texas Railroad Commission, also the General Land Office, and we are looking at partnering with other companies that maybe have more in-depth lease information where they're actually platting the leases. It's not something that we intend on getting into at all, but we do have other companies we deal with that that might have information that would be helpful to you, and we're looking at ways that we can either add that information onto our GIS platform or to just direct you back to people that can take care of you in that regard.
Well, perfect. That was the next question I had, and I think that might be the last one I see here that we've not addressed.
Okay. Well, very good. Again, we did want to keep this as short as possible. I appreciate the people joining us today. I hope that what you see in terms of your ability to be more productive by having this information at your fingertips will help all of you. We want to be a resource for you, so if you have any questions, feel free to share those with us. If you have some ideas about the best way to price this, we'd love to hear from you there too. Again, we're excited about what we've done here, particularly with the oil and gas information and the subdivision information, and we're going to continue to perfect it. So again, your feedback is critical to us. So I hope everybody enjoys their day today, and we'll look forward to speaking with you soon. Take care and have a great day. Come on in.
Sorry, I had a wife got kicked in her eye.
Oh no.
School, so.
It's always something.
But yeah, it's always something. No. Can I just have a day to chill? I think that was good. I think that was a real good webinar.
It's supposed to have been recorded.
It is.